Good evening, everyone. I'm very glad to present Susan from Rescue Poetics. She has trained us in so many things. And tonight she's going to train us on Word, Microsoft Word, which is one of the best ways to compose, write, and do a number of things. Susan, can you let us know what they are? And thank you all for coming.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Justiniano, and it is a pleasure and honor to be here to be part of this program. And I'm so happy that you've opted to join in today. One of the topics, or the topic that we will be covering today, is Microsoft Word. We're going to touch on some of the basics, and if there's time, we have about an hour. We're going to talk about the new things and the updates and how you could take Microsoft Word anywhere you go. So get your questions ready. You're welcome to put any of your questions in the chat. I will pause throughout the presentation to see if there are any questions. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to start with a basic Microsoft Word presentation. So just a little bit of information about Microsoft Word. It is part of the Microsoft suite of products. And if you're not familiar with that, what that is Microsoft has a bunch of applications, Excel, Word, OneDrive, PowerPoint, Microsoft Forms, Outlook for email, and Calendar. And they all work in conjunction with one another. And today we're going to talk about Microsoft Word one-on-one. So a little bit about me here. My name is Susan Justiniano. I'm an IT education specialist. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm an arts advocate, and I'm a writer, a poet, and I'm a Jersey proud, born and raised Jersey girl. So I have over 20 years of IT education and training experience. I've utilized and I've trained on different mobile platforms such as Microsoft Office, Google Suites, conferencing applications, and different social media. I also do project management from conception to conclusion, which includes proposals, putting information together, and having events such as this one effective. So I also do collaborations with a lot of other people in a lot of different states. I love to reach out to people and discover new things about people. So also I have technical expertise for public and private events, which means that I've done behind the scenes work. So I've supported other platforms and other events behind the scenes. So I'm also a presenter, speaker, workshop facilitator. I'm a poet. I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish and English. And that's where we are today. So just a little bit about what we're going to cover. We're going to identify the main components of Microsoft Word, what the things are, just to be able to navigate what Microsoft Word is. And we're going to learn how to use them and how to access them, or how to better access what we can use. In addition to that, we're going to perform some tasks. So if you like to follow along, if you're a hands-on person and you like to do things yourself and you have Microsoft Word, you are welcome to follow along and go step by step with the different items. I'm a hands-on learner, so that to me is very important. We're going to talk about editing and formatting text in the space of Microsoft Word. You can do that in a lot of different areas. And there's a lot of different things you can do in Microsoft Word. And then we're going to talk about Q&A. You are welcome, excuse me, at any point to put your questions in the chat or comments or experiences, because I'm here to learn from you as you are to learn from me. So if there's something that you see that I'm doing and you found a more efficient way to do it, please feel free to share that. I'm more than happy to take that lesson with me. As Debbie mentioned, that there are going to be a couple of handouts, and she will share those with you. Just keep in mind that today's session is not only about technology, but it's about taking care of yourself. And being here is part of taking care of yourself. Other ways to take care of yourself is it's okay not to be people ready. I mean, you don't have to have your camera on. I understand that it's the end of the day. We all understand that it's been a long day. It's been a long year this week. Okay. So I understand if you want to have your camera on, off, that's fine. If you want to have it on, that's fine too. So like I said, you can ask anything in the chat. You can make your comments in the chat, anything that you feel. If we don't get to your question, Debbie will share that with me, and then we can go ahead and address your question via email afterwards. So test your knowledge. So all your questions are welcome. If you, like I said, if you're a hands-on person and you like to do things yourself, you are welcome to do so. If something is not familiar, uncomfortable, or if I go too fast on something, you are welcome to say hold. That will lead me to understand that you need me to stop. We need to take a pause and take a step back if necessary. So please feel free to do that. So if you need a break, you need to take a step away, you need to take a step back, you need to take a breather, you need to refresh your beverage, or you need to take a bio break, please do so. The session is being recorded and Debbie will share that with you afterwards. So I want to thank the Union Public Library while we're here at this point. It's been an amazing journey, and Debbie has been so open, so considerate, and so kind in having all these different presentations and all these business skills and things doing. So definitely, if you're not on the email list, put your email in the chat, and Debbie will be sure to add you to the email list. So success. Most of us think that I'm here, I'm in Microsoft Word. When I'm done, I'm going just to be able to do it. That's not always the case. That's never the case. I have 20 years of experience and I'm still learning new things. So manage your expectations of yourself. Understand that you're here taking one step, and then there's another step and another step, and you can keep going from there. That's how successful you can be for yourself. So as we get started, let's talk about Microsoft and the screen components. So I'm going to go over a quick presentation, and then I'm going to move over to Microsoft Word. So most of us are familiar with Microsoft 2010 or 365. What's the difference? 2010 is the application base on your computer program. So it's on your computer, and everything you have and everything you do, you save it to your computer. When you're talking about something like 365, it's on the web, which means that you could save it and access it by logging anywhere on the web. And we're going to take a look at what Microsoft on the web looks like. So let's talk about what Microsoft looks like. This is a screenshot of Microsoft Word, an open window. So let's talk about some of the terminology. And one of the handouts that you'll be getting is a list of different terminology, different vocabulary, a glossary of sorts. It covers a variety of different things. So we're going to focus on the top section. And as you're moving through Microsoft Word, it can come in handy because sometimes we need to know beyond what the descriptor is, right? So then there's the terminology for that. So, and there are different versions of Microsoft Word. And although they may look a little different because it's something is free or something you're paying a subscription based on, it may look a little different, but they all have pretty much the same features. Some may be more robust than others. But once you know the terminology of what things are and where they're located, then you can feel more comfortable with the different components of it and the different versions of Microsoft. So here, let's take a look. First, our first lesson is to define what these pieces are. Up here, highlighted at the very top center of this screen, of this screenshot, is what's called the title bar. And that's self-explanatory. It is the title of your document. Or if you haven't saved your document yet, it will automatically default to document 1, document 2, document 3, depending on how many things you're working on at the same time. If you're like me, you have like 12 tabs open, 12 things working, multitasking and doing a variety of different things all at once. So that's what will happen. You will see that at the very top. So as we're going through the different components here, we can also see that in Microsoft Word, since it hasn't been saved, like I said before, it is called document 1. And the files that you'll create in Microsoft Word will have what's called a file extension. And all that means it's an identifier of the type of file that it is. In this case, for Microsoft Word, it's determined by DOC or DOCX, depending on the version that you're using. But both are compatible. And if you save one in one format, chances are you can still work on it in the other format. So let's talk about this area here that's in the upper right-hand corner. So in the upper right-hand corner, highlighted in red, are these 3 buttons. And these three buttons here show you to minimize a window, to maximize a window, and to close a window. This also serves as restore if you have multiple things open. So you can do that as well. And that is on all Microsoft versions. As you're looking at them, in every Windows-based application or every Windows-based platform, you'll see them. If you are a Mac user, they're also there as well, but they're defined a little bit differently. They're circles instead of squares. So if you're familiar with Mac, you see those three little dots on the upper right-hand corner, and they're usually different colors, green, yellow, and red. So you have that. You can utilize that. So here, quickly, when you minimize something, all you're doing is defining what you're seeing on screen, whether you see the whole document or whether you see something else behind the document. So that's what minimize means. You're just reducing the focus on the screen. So you can also restore a document. You won't see it on my screen, but on your screen, there's a taskbar at the very bottom, similar to what you're seeing here in front of you on this graphic. And Microsoft Word is defined by the W in the paper. And the color for Microsoft Word is blue. So it might look a little different on your end, depending on which one you're using, but it will always be defined by the color blue for Microsoft. You can click on that button and you'll see that your information or your document, whatever you're working on, will pop up as well. And if you have multiple files open and you hover over that W, you'll see the different, the small graphics that show up. You'll see the little windows of the programs, the things you're working on. And you can select what it is you're working on as well. There's another trick that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes as well, once we're done with the PowerPoint. So through here, when you maximize, you restore something, you increase the focus of what that is. If you didn't have it as the focus for your window, then what it'll do is it'll fill the entire screen. Just like this PowerPoint presentation, it is maximized. I'm in share mode. So you see the entire screen. When you're working on a Microsoft Word document and you maximize something, you just fill the entire screen with it. So when you close something, you X out of it. It's self-explanatory. You will get a prompt that says, if you haven't saved it, you've made changes, you'll get a prompt that asks you if you want to make updates to it, if you want to save your changes, you want to do other different things. And then you can answer those questions and close your document. So a little tip that I learned having used Microsoft, having used word processing programs, ever since they came into existence. I know I'm telling my age. The recommendation is to save something every minute or every time you make a change. If for any reason there is a power failure, your computer decides that it's going to not work anymore, it's going to freeze, you don't want to lose your changes. One of the great things about Microsoft now and their products is that they have created what is called a restore or a retrieve function that shows up on the left-hand side of the screen when you reopen a program and you haven't been properly saved something. So those things will show up. So how do you save something? You save something through the quick access toolbar, which is the default in Microsoft Word. You can change this, believe it or not, to what those quick one single click buttons. I'm the type of person that if I can click one time to do something, I'm going to do it. The least amount of clicks wins. So whatever I can customize in that area, I'm going to do that. And you can certainly customize it by clicking on the downward arrow. So these are the standard ones. The standard ones are save, undo, and repeat a function. So instead of having to type something again, you can repeat a function. So you have those buttons here on the upper left-hand side. So just remember that they're on the same line as the title bar, and you'll see these different buttons here, and they will remain consistent no matter which version that you're using. So here, what you see below is the ribbon, and that is, I don't want to say new, but relatively new. And as Microsoft updates the versions of its product, you'll see that this is being updated as well. Yours may look a little different than what you see here, depending on what the default is. And that's something that you can change if you like for yourself. So this is what's called a ribbon interface. And as you can see, there's different sections and different areas, and they provide different types of information in each area, depending on the tab that you're highlighting. These functions that are here for Microsoft Word give you the ability to do things immediately on site without having to search for different things. So here, we can take a look. You can customize your ribbon. You can group different things in the ribbon. You can change different things, but that's a lesson for another day. Let's figure out what we're doing here today first. But keep this in mind that you can customize it. If you don't like what you see, you can indeed customize it. So let's talk about these tabs here. The words file, home, insert, all these here that are highlighted in red. Okay, each tab has several groups, and each one is categorized a little differently depending on what those functions are. For example, if you click on the File tab in Microsoft Word, you're taken to what's called the backstage, the back end. And those commands are very specific to what's going on to your document. You can save your document. You can open something new. And these commands are very specific. These you can't really customize in this specific area, but you can customize different things. So here, let's talk about the Home tab. The Home tab contains the most commonly associated things that you utilize, which would talk about inserting, copying, your clipboard, the font that you use, whether you align something in a paragraph, whether you use bullet points or numbers, how you align it, the line space, the different things, also the different styles that you have. Whether something is a header and you're working on a document and you have headers like a table of contents, and we'll look at that in just a moment, and different areas, different styles that you would utilize for yourself in your document. We also talk about editing. Editing is what you do to edit a document itself, and we'll go over some of those. So before I move on and talk about the Insert tab, I wanted to see if there were any questions about what I just covered. So we do have a question, in the chat. Is Microsoft Word similar to Google Docs? And I want to say yes. There are a lot of similarities between Google Docs and Microsoft Word. So if you don't have Microsoft Word available to you, although you can get the free version, and you're a Google user, I'm a huge Google user as well. I use the entire Google suite. You'll see the similarities between Microsoft Word and Google Docs. So yes, there are. Some of the things may be named a little different. Some of the things may be positioned a little differently. But once you become familiar with it, there's an ease of use when you're using something like Google Docs. So thank you for that question. So let's talk about the Insert tab really quick, just covering this here. And those cover things that are things you want to insert. You want to insert a blank page. You want to insert a new page. You want to put a cover page to what you're doing. You want to add a table. You want to insert a table. You want to do something, make it look really well, really nice. You want to add illustrations. You want to add photos. You can do that. And these are just the things that that particular tab covers. So you can insert a variety of different things, including symbols and equations. And you'll notice with Microsoft Word that there is a lot of communication, and these things that you do in Microsoft Word, you can do in other Microsoft products, such as Excel or PowerPoint. So that's the great thing about Microsoft. They make it consistent through everything so that it is a seamless experience for you, similar to what Google does with Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides. So the next tab is page layout, and those are the most common, things, the most common commands that are associated with anything to do with your page. And when you come from a typewriter background to something like this that allows you to do this in a few seconds instead of trying to remember margins and things along that line, it really helps out a lot. So that's the page layout tab. And these are things that you can go ahead and you can dive into and you can look at on your own and poke around. So let's talk about the reference tab. The reference tab allows us to create a table of contents, allows us to add footnotes. We can do citations. We can create a bibliography. And that's great if you're doing a research paper or anything along that line. And you can see the different things that are available in the different sections. So these commands here If you're doing an essay or something formal, a formal document like a standard operating procedure, and you're a technical writer, this is something you're going to utilize a lot. I know it's something I utilize. So then the next tab, we talk about mailings. If you do like a mail merge, and if you don't know what a mail merge is, it's simply just creating a document that has people's names and addresses and creating a template letter or a label or something along that line and merging them. Mail merge, that's where that comes from. So, and then the great thing is each of these walks you step by step through these different areas. You can write, you can insert, you can do different things here. You can preview the results of what it is that you're doing. You can take a look at what it is that you've created for yourself. You can finish something. So in this tab, you can then create that mass mailing, whether it's for invitation, whether it's a newsletter, printed newsletter, an announcement, anything along that line, postcards even, and labels, mailing labels. So instead of ordering mailing labels, you can create your own mailing labels. So here we have, let's talk about the proofing under review. Under the review tab, we can see the different things that are available under proofing. And we can see that under this tab, this review tab, you can see all the different components that are involved. So these things here are associated with things that are prepared for publication. If you want to print something formalized, you can do that here. So all these tools are available at your fingertips with just a few clicks. And what we can see here with our view, we can see the different ways we can view our documents. We can show different things. We can zoom in and zoom out. If a document is small and appears small, we can increase the size of that document. There are a couple of ways to do that, but here you have a one-click way of doing that. You can look at your window. You can have your different, you can create a side-by-side view in Microsoft Word as well. So these are things you can play around with. Open up two documents and play around in this area here. So here you can also do macros, and that's a little bit more advanced. And all that is a recording of repetitious things that you do. If you do something over and over and over again, like type in your name, type in your address, and you do that over, you can set up a macro to record that and do it the same way every single time. So these are the advantages of having something like this. And you can look at your document in a variety of different ways. So that covers the presentation, and I'm going to escape out of that. And what I'm going to do is open up Microsoft Word. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some real-time exercises here. In the handouts that were provided today, there is one that provides some exercises that you can do on your own. So the handouts look a little bit like this. In these handouts, you have two of them. They're both PDF documents. One of them, as I said, is the vocabulary. So you can look at the different, what those things mean. When I say something like, what is a print layout? You can take a look at it. You can see what the definition is for that. If you like to poke around and you like to do different things, you can look at what the editing is. You can go around and look at these different tabs and look at these different functions and commands that are available. And have this next to you so that you know what each thing means, what each thing actually does, what the function is. The other handout that was provided to everyone today, and Debbie will share that with everyone, is just a tour of Microsoft Word. In here, you'll see, let me just get to this menu button here. This is faster. In here, you will see that there's a basic tour of what Microsoft Word is. And you can have the recording and you can have this with you and you can do different things like these exercises here. So here's an exercise that you can try. Wherever it says try it, it's in red, and you can go ahead and try different things, different exercises. And then here you can see also that there are also some screenshots and some captures that give you the step-by-step guide on different things here. For example, how do you save a document? Where do you save a document to? If you are in the Microsoft suite of products and you are on Microsoft on the web, you can save to their storage program, which is called OneDrive, which is similar to Google Drive. It's your basic storage capacity. You can save anything you'd like to that area, or you can save it to your computer. And I'm going to make this suggestion because I make it to everyone every time I do a session. Whenever possible, save it to, do a backup of what you're saving to your computer. If you lose your computer, if your computer dies, or anything happens, anything that is on your computer saved to your hard drive in your computer is lost. So you want to be sure that you have a backup to that. So that's one of the advantages of having a product like Google Drive or a product like OneDrive. So in this also, you'll see here that if you're following along and you want to type in a document, and we're going to do that right now. So we can go to our Microsoft Word and we can type in test. And you see that now available, everything is available to us. So we have our home tab and we can go ahead and we can modify this if we wanted to. We can do different things here as far as this is concerned. We can change the style of this, and you're going to see that as we're in the packet, the information, the different things you can do. And if I want to save this, I can do that. I can hit File, and I can Save As, and it gives me options of where to save it. I can save it straight to my PC. I can save it. I can define where I want to save it. I may not like these options. I may not be using these options. I may have an external hard drive and I can save it to. So that option is available to you, and you can do that here. Once your document is saved, you'll see that that information in the top, in the center, in the title bar does change. And let's go ahead and save this. So I can hit File, and now I'm going to hit Save As, and I'm just going to save it to this PC under my Documents folder, which is what most of us do. So I'm going to put MS-101 test, because that's what I want to call my document. I have the option of creating a folder while I'm here as well. So I can hit Save, and now you'll notice at the title bar on the top has changed. No longer says document 1. It now says MS-101 test, and it tells me where I saved it to. I saved it to this PC. If I wanted more detail, okay, I don't remember where I saved it. How do I go and find it again? I can click on this downward facing arrow or the caret, and I can see it tells me where I saved it. It gives me the location. That's one of the updates of the Microsoft products. It allows you to see the location of where you saved it. You can't change it here because it's not saved on the web. You would have to go actually and manually change it. You'd have to go and rename your document or move your document if you wanted to have it in a different area. So before I move on, are there any questions about this step? Okay. So here you'll notice that we have other functions that are available to us. Autosave, and that's if you want to save something on the web to OneDrive, for example. You also have what we covered before, these quick access buttons. So if I want to save something, if I'm working on a document, and I can see here, this is new, and I'm typing something different to my class. I can go in here and do this. And I can see that now I can either repeat this function, redo that. So I don't have to do it, copy and paste or retype it or any of those things. Or I can undo something. And now I'm back to this. So now I want to save it. You'll see here that this has changed here. It is just the name of my document. So I can go ahead and hit the save function, and it automatically saves the function there. So those are just some basic things to remember about Microsoft and the different functionalities that are available to you. So here in this handout that you'll be receiving from Debbie, this is what we covered, save as. So you can share something, and that's what I was talking about, sharing a document, sharing a file with someone. You could send someone without leaving actually Microsoft Word. You could actually share it from where you are. And in Microsoft Word, that function is available directly in the upper right-hand corner. And that's one of the new things, new functions about Microsoft, the Microsoft products. So you can go in there and share it directly from your file and not have to go to email to upload it, to then make sure you're uploading the right version of the document to then share it. Sharing it in this way allows for you to collaborate with other people as well. If you're working on a document with someone, you're working on a business plan, you're working on a proposal with someone, this is a function that you'll find very handy to you. And looking at all of these things, you'll notice that here in this version of Microsoft Word, you can also make comments on something. You can do a variety of different things. In Microsoft Word, you can also, if you don't remember how to do something, you don't remember how to format something, you don't remember how to change something, they've changed the search option to something different. It is now, it comes with automatic things. It's like search actions, things to do. So if I want to look up formatting, I can do that. I can clear all the formatting. I can show all the formatting. And as you can see, as I'm hovering over these different things, you also have windows that provide you information and different things. So you can see what that is. You can see exactly what this means, what this does, and how to do it. And you can do that. And if this is still not clear to you, you can click on the Tell Me More, and it'll pop up and it'll give you additional information. And you can see where at the very bottom where it says Get Help, you can go to that function there and you can select specific help for what it is you're looking to do. So this is going to be your friend, especially if you forget, if you're like me and you have 10,000 things on your mind and you want to do different things, but you know, it just escapes you where to find something, where to do things, how do you take an action to format something? You can do it here. You can do this search and it'll give you the different actions. It'll give you the most recent actions that you've done. And it allows you to do it with the fewest amount of clicks possible. So you can go in there and you can do that. Any questions about what I've covered so far? Okay. So here, as we're going through the presentation, in here, you can share in private, which is what we did. If you'd like to add visuals, add pictures, you can add pictures in a variety of different ways to your document. If you're in a document and you want to zhuzh it up, as it were, you want to make it fancy, you want to add a photo, for example, all you have to do is click on Insert, and you see here you have different options here, different things that you can add in. You can add different things here. So if I want to add a picture, for example, I have options. And you know you have additional options or additional action items when there is this downward facing caret. So I can see there, and I want to add a stock image, for example. If I want to add something if I'm doing a presentation and I want to do trees, and it would help if I could spell properly. So, and there we are, trees. Trees. Okay. So I see I have trees. I have a variety of pictures. These are stock photos. So I can insert this into my presentation. I can select as many as I'd like to insert, and I can put that in there. And it takes a minute because it's coming from somewhere else. And you'll see now that I have editing functions for this photo. So I can add different things. I can add, I can insert different things into my document as we're working, and I can format. You see that now we have a different ribbon with different groups and different action items. I can crop my photo. I can do different things. A new tab popped up that is specific to what I just did. So these are the advantages of having a product like Microsoft Word and utilizing it. If you were to use it, for example, in the function of for setting up a resume, Microsoft Word has that ability to help you with a resume helper. So if I wanted to start a brand new document, I can do that. And I can see that there are different templates that are available. You see something that popped up here that's popped up. And let's say I want to do a resume. I haven't done a resume in years, but I want to be able to do a resume. So I can type in resume and see what comes up. What are the templates that are available? And Microsoft provides you with a variety of templates that are already formatted, that all you have to do is plug in the information, update the information, change the information to what you need. So if you're not sure of a format to use, you like something that's here, you can select a template to utilize, and the formatting is already made for you. A note about these templates, you just have to be careful when you use one of them. So now I want to create something, for example, and I'm here and I can see that there's things in different areas. You highlight something, you can right mouse click, and you have a different menu. You have an immediate action menu, and you can do different things here in your menu. You can, if you don't see anything or none of this looks familiar to you, you can scroll down and see different things. You can search the menu to see what it is if you're not sure what it is that you want to do. So you can do different things here. You can play around with it, and unless you save it, it's not going to absorb the changes. The moment you save it, the changes are absorbed, and then you have a new document or you have a replacement document. So you can go back and do that. In addition to doing this and having this available to you, when you click on the File tab, you'll notice that you have these functions here along the top: Home, New, and Open. In addition to having that, this background area that you're seeing in front of you, you can see that templates are suggested for you. You can look at more templates. You see here that things that are recent files that you've worked on, that you've created. It gives you what it was last modified, when you last created your document. You want to see things that are important. You can now pin things in Microsoft Word. You couldn't do that before. So now things that are important to you, you can keep them available to you right away. And you can see things that if you're on a product that is web-based, like Microsoft Word on the web, which we'll go over in just a moment, you'll see those items that are shared with you. So you can see that you can access those documents instead of trying to search for different things. You can enter keywords and search for something very quickly, and you'll see that the list pops up and it populates with those things that you've accessed recently or you've more frequently used. So you have that option there. So if you're looking for information on something specific, you can look at the information and play around in this area and just take a look at different things that are here. You're not going to hurt anything. You're not going to break anything. You can take a look at different things in the background. Any questions about where I was and what I did? Okay, so let's take a look at Microsoft on the web. So Microsoft 365 is the web-based version, the cloud-based version of Microsoft Word, for example. And what does that mean? That means it's available wherever you are, whenever you are. From your mobile device, you can download the Microsoft app. You can utilize it and have the same information available wherever you are. And if you're using the web-based product, it saves it on the web. It saves it on the cloud, which means that it doesn't save it on your computer. It saves it on Microsoft servers, Microsoft Cloud. So you can access that. You can sign up for free. You can download the product, and you can utilize the products that are available through Microsoft Word, or Microsoft, I should say, including PowerPoint and Excel. So that information here, as you can see here, you can go through these different steps. You can utilize this different information. You can create a heading style. You can utilize this information and you can apply these different styles to your document. You can create a report. You can create a book. You can create a table of contents for a training guide or for standard operating procedure or for different things, for different policies and different things along that line. And if you're new and you're using Microsoft Word just to get your thoughts on the paper, you can utilize that to create a folder for yourself and create these different files for yourself here. So in addition to that information, you can also change something that exists. You can give your doc a different look immediately. So if we go back to Microsoft Word, we can see here that we have this one that I created that is a test document, and I have a photo. So let's say maybe I don't like this theme. Maybe I don't like the way it looks. Maybe I want it to look a little differently. I can go ahead and do that. And where I would do that is under Layout. And I can see under Layout, I can change my margins. I can change the orientation of my file. I can change the size of my paper. I can change the number of columns if I'm doing a list and I need columns, or if I'm writing an article and articles are typically printed in column form. I can do that here as well. I can create breaks for this document. I can also create line numbers and do different things, change my indentation, change my default, do those different things. If I want to change the position of this photo and wrap the text, I can do all that here. In addition to that, I can go ahead and I can change the style of my font, the style of my information. So if I wanted to change this specific item, I can highlight it by double clicking on it, which will cover the entire line, click on style, and define what I want it to look like. So I can see here that now what I've done is I changed the style of what that is. I can go in there and do that. Another great new thing about Microsoft and their products is that they have provided a dictation option. So if you are a person you don't like to type or the keys are hard to see, you can use the dictation. So if I click on dictate, I can then go ahead and listen. And as you can see, what it's doing is typing the best as it can what it is that I'm saying. So I can stop that at any point because I'm done and I can edit what I need. If you're a person that let's say you're doing your memoir or you're doing an essay for a job application and you want to test it out or you want to test out something different. You want to test out your skills. You can go and you can dictate it and then you can go ahead and modify it afterwards. Sometimes it's easier to speak something than type it. So that's one of the advantages of having this type of program. You can go in there and you can dictate something and you can then go ahead and see what it looks like in print in front of you. So that function is under home and under voice. You'll see that there. And again, it depends on the product and the version that you have. If you have something that is older than, I think, 2010, 2016, you may not have all of these options. So you can always take a look to see what the different options are available to you. Any questions on what I did there?
I'm going to just do a little commercial for Union Public Library.
Yes, please do.
If you live, work, or go to school in Union, you can get a library card and you can borrow a Chromebook and a hotspot so you can have access to internet. While we don't have Microsoft Word on them, we do have Google Drive, which I can explain to you, any librarian can explain to you, and you can use that as a Word document. So I would encourage you to come into the library and check it out. Live, work, go to school, or pay $40 to become a member of Union Public Library. Also access to free museum passes, which are incredible. So that is my commercial. Take it away, Susan.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that information. So someone asked before if it's the same, if Google Docs is the same as Microsoft. So here, let me just share my screen again. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. So here, I opened up Google Drive. I use Google Drive all the time. And this is what it looks like when you're opening Docs. And how do you find them? So you click on the app menu here and you look for Docs. If you have Google products, if you have Gmail, you'll see that. And as Debbie said, the laptops and the Chromebooks from the library have Google on them, have the Google suite of products on them. So here we have our document. And I want to create a brand new one. As you can see here, just as we saw in Microsoft Word, there are templates available. You have a resume template. You want to take meeting notes. You want to do different letters. You have that as well. Also, when we opened up the back end of Microsoft Word, we saw my most recent things that I had open or that I had been working on. You have that here available as well in Google. So if I wanted to create a blank document, I can click on blank in here. And as you can see, some of these things are populating. Some of these things you can see that is not as robust as Microsoft Word because that's a product all by itself. But you can see here that we have some functions that look and feel familiar. We have the undo, we have the repeat, the print. We have, if I want to do spelling, I wanted to catch my spelling, or I wanted to track that, I could do that. Paid format is if you're copying something and you just want to have it the same format over and over. And that zoom that we talked about is here as well. You can change your text, your style, which is what it's called, excuse me, in Microsoft Word. So you can go ahead and you can change that here as well. You see, you have your font and you have this ellipsis. In this ellipsis, you'll see additional menu items. You'll see a more broken down or more specific things that you may be looking for. So when in doubt, even if you're in a Microsoft product and you don't see what you're looking for, you can click on the ellipsis. And 9 times out of 10, that'll give you what you're looking for. The other option is if you want to search the menu, you have that option here as well. So you can go format back and forth and look at different things in this information. And you can test pretty much anything that's here in this that you're going to be receiving from the Union Public Library. You can test it in Google as well, in Google Docs, and find where, make your notes as to where they are there. So then that way, what it does is it then increases your knowledge database. It increases your knowledge and your comfort level on these different items. So here, just for fun, you can find something, and that's something that if you're going to, let's say you made a typo, right? If I'm in here in Word, and let's go to Word, and I typed something wrong in here. Let me just get rid of that. I'm just going to delete that. And we'll call Wednesday. And I see that I've typed something wrong, right? And I want to correct that. I can do that. I don't remember where to go. I don't remember how to correct that. I can go to my search function here, and I can type in find or replace. And if I knew how to type, that would help even better. So I can type replace, and I can see that it's now come up with the best action. I can hover over it, and it'll tell me what that does. So I can go in there, and I can say, oh, well, I typed WM, so WMELL, and I want to replace that with wheel. So now I have options at the bottom that allows me to replace a single one, replace every time it appears, or find where it is, where I've made that mistake. So I want to go ahead and replace all. And I can see that it's done. And it tells me how many replacements I've made. So when you go to proofread your document and you realize you made one mistake, you can check to see if you've made that same, a spelling error, a labeling mistake, something different. So these are things, these are editing functions that you can do in Microsoft Word. And you can look through it. And again, if you don't remember where to find it, all you have to do is go to the search and type in what you think it should be, what you think you're looking for. And you see that there are suggestions here as well. Any questions about what I did there and how I got there? Okay. So this will be provided to you. Debbie will be kind enough to send it to everyone via email. You can see we covered some of the Word options, and tell me what you want me to do is what has replaced the search function in Microsoft products. In addition to that, I provided some additional resource links. Microsoft provides a very robust training, and they provide different things. This is the one for Microsoft. You can also look at keyboard shortcuts if you're a person who likes to utilize keyboard shortcuts. So those links are in here, and you can click on the links and go directly to them. And that information then will be made available to you. So that brings us at 7:51. And I just want to open the floor for any questions or something that you've experienced that you would like to see we can work out now. We have about 9 minutes for that.
I love the undo button. That is the easiest thing. I can't tell you how many times I've deleted the whole document or deleted the most important thing, and by clicking the undo, it's right there.
That's right. You lean on your keyboard, and all of a sudden, all these things replace your document. You can click undo, and it's back. I love that function as well. Anybody else? Do you have a favorite function in Microsoft Word? Is there something that you learned tonight that you
I'm going to ask
realize that Microsoft Word could do?
Ms. Idell, did you have a question? Or Anne Marie, go ahead.
Yes, good evening. So for me, understanding the home page, because I didn't understand the features along that line, and so I get a better appreciation. I guess I'll have to revisit it over and over to become confident in using it. So that was the high point for me.
I'm so glad. Yeah, when you're not used to using something, it can be intimidating. But just like everything else, you use it, you practice, you go on and on and on, and it becomes even more comfortable. It's kind of like driving. If you drive, the first time you drive, you're like, oh, what am I doing? But years later, you're like, okay, I got this. So I'm so glad for that. Anyone else?
I'd like to ask the group what they would like to learn. Next month, we're doing PowerPoint, but what other things would you like to have workshops on in terms of computer skills? And you can either put it in chat. Idell, did you have a question? Miss
What
Idell?
about Excel, Miss Debbie? Microsoft Excel?
I have taken Excel classes about 25 times. I could take another one. And so Susan and
Okay.
I will work on that for sure.
Or Access, if you know, that's kind of similar, I think.
Good. Did we lose sound here for a minute? Anybody hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. And so that's a great idea. So PowerPoint is in December. I don't remember the date, but I think it's about mid-December. And I'll
Mhm.
send you all a notice about that. Next week, we're doing a program on the Indigenous people of New Jersey, and it's called We Are Here. I think it's going to be fascinating, and I recommend it. It's virtual. If you're interested, just write yes in chat. We have all kinds of programs coming up. Be sure to let me know what interests you and write back to me and tell me, I love a program on this. I'd love to hear that. So I think I'm going to stop recording. Here we go. Stop recording. Yep. Let's see. Okay, stop recording.